The legal marriage between the Cameroon Football Federation Fecafoot and kit provider EcoSport has ended, according to a communique made published on August 6th by the Secretary General of the Federation, Blaise Junang. The decision comes after EcoSport failed to meet its contractual obligation, prompting Fecafoot to seek a new supplier. Lucien is a sport analyst.
This is not a surprise because you remember immediately after the AFCON, Ernesto Bama, who is one of the spokespersons for the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, granted an interview in which he clearly stated, when asked about the EcoSport issue, he said Fecafoot was in a legal process which potentially could lead to the rupturing of the contract.
The decision marks the end of a contract highly esteemed by the Federation's president Samuel Eto'o as the most precious in the history of the Indomitable Lions. But 2 years after, the same statement can be supported by the FA.
So I think it's a bold move and it sets a precedent for whoever wants to work with the Cameroon Football Federation that you have to be serious, because with Fecafoot now, if you don't respect your contractual obligations, we're no longer going to maintain you as our sponsors. I think it's only but normal that if someone signs a contract and doesn't respect, the leadership should take action and terminate the contract. And also, many people have said for quite a while that Cameroonians were never told the different contractual terms that Fecafoot had with EcoSport. How many organizations have you seen publish a contract with a company? You never see that.
Even though the exact reason for EcoSport's failure to meet its contractual obligation were not disclosed, the kit provider was expected to provide a new boss and financial obligation to Fecafoot, thus leading to the eruption. Sama Glabe is a legal mind.
Without probably being abreast of whatever the contractual terms were, to see the terms. So from the terms now you cannot decipher whether they were free to back up anytime. And if they were free, what were the consequences improvised in those contracts? You know, there are two types of contract. It was a contract of indefinite duration. What the law requires is that you give notice of termination or what they call préavis. But if it's a contract of definite duration, if the party who decides to breach it for whatever reason has to pay damages.
With EcoSport no longer Cameroon's kit supplier, some Cameroonians have begun voicing out some brands they would like Fecafoot to sign.
I will say Puma, because you remember that before Coq Sportif and EcoSport, Puma has always been one of the best.
Puma is still a very trusted brand in the market, and its legacy and its name equally stands generations and is still being used by many clubs today. So I think going back to them isn't going to be a bad idea.
Despite the termination, the Indomitable Lions will use EcoSport equipment for the last time in September 2024 during the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers, and Fecafoot will then open a bid for a new supplier to replace EcoSport.